Hello friends, it is me, Kelly, and we are back for the third week in a row, so I know, it's crazy, right? But I wanted to make a video today kind of showing off our library. This is probably the third room that we finished in order. I would not even say that we're fully finished with it. I want to still do some trim around the doors and around the window because some of the original trim was ripped out, so we are restoring that part. But other than that, we are pretty much done with it. I do have to go through and build a platform to make it look as though all of the bookshelves are built in, but I will film that whenever it's time for that. Sorry for using that so much right there. Weird. But I can show you what we've done up until now because it is almost finished. So one of the ways that I really like to start my day is by having a London fog. That's what I did today. And then I will say, as much as I loved this wallpaper, I feel as though my biggest mistake was what I used to adhere it, which is this super spray adhesive. I have something else called Easy Hang, and now whenever I go to do wallpaper, that is my absolute favorite thing. However, at this time I was using the spray, and this wallpaper did not get to stay up, unfortunately. I was making sure that everything was nice and measured properly. I absolutely loved how it looked with our cherry bookshelves. I think that it turned out absolutely beautiful. However, you guys are now going to see this one last time of what the wallpaper looked like, and then I had to tear it all down. So here is everything all torn down, completely blank, and I filled in some holes and where there were anything that had been torn down from the wallpaper. This part to me was honestly very satisfying. I have found out that I really like spackling, and I really like sanding down all of the stuff once it is done and dry. I like this particular brand just because of the fact that it dries white, it goes on pink, so you know when it's time to sand. After that, I went to Ace Hardware and we ended up getting some paint. I knew that I wanted to keep with the blue and the gold. This is the color that I got. And here is the library now that we are ready. I took off all of the trim first because I knew that I was painting. And I'm not sure if this is the subfloor or the actual floor, but we ended up covering this up, so I did not be careful with this floor. It ended up getting covered in blue paint, to be fully honest with you. But here we are. And whenever I did my first layer, I am going to be honest and say I was so nervous. For some reason this just looked gray to me and I thought that I was going to hate it. I ended up having to spend myself, or convince myself for the entire day that I was going to like it and that I could just push through. That being said, once I had it all over, I loved it. I love how this blue turns out, and I really love how it looks with the ceiling painted as well. I think that this color scheme was great, and we got a bunch of free flooring from Facebook Marketplace. So this floor is not what's going to stay. We eventually are going to do a parquet floor that is real wood. This is just a hard vinyl that sticks together. My husband hammered it in place and then went through and nailed it to make sure that we weren't going to be getting any movement. Our house is 130 years old, so it does slope towards the middle, which made it a little hard, but I think that he did a wonderful job. And again, this floor is not going to stay. We are going to do parquet floor, but I love how it turned out for now. We got this fireplace mantle from Facebook Marketplace for $40 from a hoarder's house, and I wanted it to feel like a real fireplace, so I went through and I added peel and stick tile to give a tiled effect. But the thing that I really love about this particular project is the fact that our cast iron vent for the heating duct looks very much like a summer fireplace cover, so I feel like it just looks appropriate for what it is. After that, I was really thinking about doing some crown molding. I thought that gold would look really good in here, and to be honest, I was completely right. I love how shiny this crown molding is. I found a bunch of feet for $50 on Facebook Marketplace, so I went through and I spray painted it with this antique brass metallic spray paint. And that is honestly the main spray paint that I use for anything that is gold or brass looking that I have to refinish if I have to actually paint it. Otherwise, I'm using a brass polish. We had a little bit of an issue getting that corner, but that's fine because my husband went through and did it and it turned out fabulously. Next, we went through and added a ceiling medallion so that way we could have a little bit of filigree to the ceiling, and we found a chandelier that was time period appropriate. Here is what it looks like now. We have let the cats make their little home in this room, but it's majority used as a library and a office slash study for me. I love how all of the wood tones look with this color, and I'm absolutely in love with all of this project so far. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!